these are the folders that we were supposed to create. Incoming files, master data was the one I created just to put all the let's say master files that we would receive. And then we are supposed to create two more folders, I guess, rejected and the success files. So those will be created once we run the code. So if you go inside code, I have kind of divided the project in three parts: the email part, the actual processing of the files, and the validations. So if we go inside this one, run main. So this is where I include all the other modules also, mail service and validations, and the other modules are kind of used in the code. So basically I'm kind of creating the date structure because we need to create the incoming files will be landed in the current day's directory. So basically I'm just creating that, which is today's date and just kind of date time dot today, and then formatting it as per our requirement. Okay, and then I'm creating this incoming files path, which is basically the incoming directory and the date which we created. Similar way we are creating this email date thing because we need to get that in the subject line also. So I'm doing that. And so the basic logic here is we are just iterating over the list of files which are there in the incoming path folder, which you see here. Incoming files is equal to os.list directory. So this will basically list your files in the incoming directory. So let's say you are receiving 10 files per day on a given day. So all those files will be stored as a list in this incoming files. Okay. Similar way I'm creating these paths. You can put this thing in, let's say, another file or something, let's say configuration or constants kind of thing, but I've just kept it here. So now the main part is if total count is greater than 0. Total count is your if there are more than one files or more than, I mean, at least one file in the incoming directory, then we are processing the entire thing. Else there's no use of processing. So I'm just checking it here if total count is greater than 0. Okay. And this success count and reject count is for basically for the email, because we need to send it in the email. So I'm putting it, initializing it to 0 for every run. Okay. Now this inside for loop will run. I mean, basically this for loop will run for every file in the directory. Okay. So for file in incoming files, I've kind of forgotten why I did this flag equal to true. Let me see.
That's fine. We can check it later. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to add comments in the code. Let's see. Products equal to we read. Basically, I'm just doing the getting the products file here, which is the master file. Okay. So if I go to this one, okay, this one, def read master data. Okay, product list. I'm opening the file CSV file, reading it, and creating a list out of it. Yeah, right. Creating a list out of it. Yeah, so this products variable will be your products list. Okay. Now this will open your individual files. Okay. So whatever CSV file, I mean the transactional files you have will be read with this. Okay. So basically orders will have all your transactions for one particular file. Now same way, if there is nothing, basically if you only have the file and you only have it's kind of an empty file kind of thing. So I'm just checking it here. Okay. If not, it will go to the else, but that we'll see later. Now this will this will run for individual orders in that file. Okay, so which is why I've created this variables, because we need to get that in the rejected file region. Correct. So I need to get this for every record in that orders files. Now once done, I'm creating a dictionary. If you see ordered it, which is here, I've initialized it, and I've given order ID equal to data rows of 0, which is your indexes of the individual elements in that file. So I'm just creating a dictionary out of it.
Can you go up where you are assigning all that to a blank character? Why you are doing that?
Because this I need to do it for every record, right? So the inside for loop will run for every record in the file.
Yes. You are trying to check each and every field. Is there any field in that record is having blank value or not?
Correct.
Is that?
No. It's not. This is just initialization, because
this is initialization. Correct.
Yeah.
But
these values will change in the code. If we go down, these values will change based on the inputs in the file.
But the reason is they are initialized this, so each record will be validated, and whatever errors are there will be appended in these variables, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now that we have the dictionary with all the data, I'm just doing validation. The validation that Ankit mentioned in the file, I'm just doing one by one. So if you see, I have separate functions for everything. Validate product ID, validate order date. I have separate functions. So if you click on any one of this, you will end up in here. So if you see in this file, I have all the functions. Validate sales, validate product ID, validate order date, validate city, and validate emptiness. So this is where I've put all the validations. You can put this in a single function also. At that time, I just thought of putting it separately. So this is how I've done. So basically, every field will be checked against this validations. So if you see, I'm passing different parameters to all the functions. So validate PID means validate product ID. So I'm just from the dictionary, I'm just passing the product ID and the products list from to the function. So basically, what this function will do is, if ID in product ID is your dictionary ID and products is your product list. Okay, so if ID in product ID, this will return true if the ID is present in the products list. If not, it will return false. Same way it will do for everything based on the requirement. Validate order date. Correct. Yeah. Basically, the validation was the date should not be more, greater than today's date. Correct. So I'm just getting the difference between the order date and today, and if it is more than 0, which means based on how this thing returns, what this thing returns. At that time, I got to know that if when the difference is more than 0, then it is okay. Okay, because if these one of the dates is more, it will be written. It will return negative. So which is why I put these conditions. Okay. Same way with city. If city in Mumbai and Bangalore, then it will return true. It will return false. And yeah, emptiness was a bit tricky. I had to pass the whole dictionary out of it, and then if not orders of K, or I'm checking if it is null or blank space. Okay, then I'm passing all the columns to it, because if one of the columns I pass, it's not. Let's say you have 2 empty columns in the record, then it needs to capture all the records, right? So I'm just creating an empty columns list, and I'm appending that key value, the actual key, which is the column name, to the empty list, and then I'm returning that empty columns list. So if you see here,
Yeah, line number 70, I think. Not 70, 65.
yeah, so if you see, I've run a for loop over it because I need to get all the columns. Okay, so let's say you have two columns, then I need to capture it that these two columns are empty. So I've run a for loop, and it will just create a string saying these columns are empty. Now to actually check the validation, so if you see, I've written an if condition, if not val PID, which means your product ID validation has failed. So I have appended the reject reason with appropriate message, invalid product ID and the product ID. Okay, and then actually I'm appending it to the actual main reason, which will be for every record. Okay, so this is the product ID validation reason, and this is the actual the entire reject reason. Same way I'm validating for emptiness. Okay, if some of the fields are empty, then it will create that empty columns list message, and it will append it to the actual message. Same thing is done for the other validations also. Yeah, now this is where I'm checking if all the other validation of, if all the 5 validations are successful or not. So if you see, if val PID and this will return true only if the other, only if all the validations have succeeded. If any one of them has failed, it will it will fail. Okay, else. So basically what I'm doing is, if all these validations succeed, we don't have to do anything. We have to capture only if any of the reasons fail. Okay, so yeah, this is where I'm creating the rejected file thing. Okay, so if you see, else row string, this is the actual okay, let's see. This code basically does your file copying from the actual incoming directory to the rejected file. Okay, so if you see, this module will help us in doing that. Okay, so what I'm doing is, if the directory is not existing, it will create that directory, because we have to create it through the code itself. So basically this will check if the rejected file directory is existing in your project code. It will create it, and then it will copy it.
One question I have, okay, that the above loop what we are in now, okay, that that is iterating for each record, or you are iterating for whole one file?
There are two parts to it. In the inner, there will be two loops, I guess. One which will iterate through all the records, and the one which will iterate through all the files.
Yeah,
okay, there are two. This for loop will iterate through
each file, and with open.
And this will this will open your file. This will be a list, I guess. Okay.
Okay, and in order you are tracking record by record.
Yes.
Okay. And come down where this for is closing. I'm just coming there.
Which
this for the record by record, where the innermost
32.
for.
Okay. Line 32.
Yeah, just.
Okay. This is closing here. Basically, this for else will do what it will do is, if this else part will execute only if the for has succeeded. If the for is break.
But in this scenario, in this case, okay, if any record is having issue, means like we are having a file which is having the 1000 record. Okay, if the record 10 is having issue, then only it will terminate and go in else and record the issue, right? And move the file.
No, it will check for all the records. I'm not breaking anything in the middle.
Okay, it will continue. Okay.
Yeah, it will go on checking all the records. because we need to capture that in the file, right? So
Just scroll up a bit. Okay. Not here, where you are checking all that issue.
that will be
Is there
here.
any? Yeah, here, yes. Land 95, yes.
Yeah.
If any one of is failing, you are going in else, right?
Yeah. No, this will be outside for loop. No, this is inside for loop.
This is inside for loop, right?
Yeah.
It will break then in that scenario.
No, I'm not breaking any. I have not written any break statement. Because I need to check for every record, even if you have 1,000
Okay,
records.
you in else part only you are recording that.
Yes.
If there is no issue, just continuing on the next record.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Where was I? Okay. So if you see, if all the validations are successful, we don't have to do anything. If we have to capture only if the validations fail. Okay. So
yeah, any of that.
In the else part, I've written that code which will copy your file from incoming to the rejected files path, which we have created above. Okay. And then I'm increasing the rejected count. Correct. Now this is the part where
then again, okay, just again reiterating the same scenario. You got an issue on the 100th line. 100th line, you came on the else, and you copied the file to the rejected path, right?
No, I mean the file will be copied only when it is done with checking all the records.
No, it is in the loop. You are checking record by record. For 100th record, let's see that is checked for if condition. Okay. If it's checked for if condition, if any of the validation is failed, it will go to the else, and it will copy the file at that scenario.
If you see, everything is outside of for loop. If you see, I've minimized the for loop. Okay, so this for loop ends here, and this is everything is in else part. Okay. Now this is
that again. I got then. Come on. Yeah. This if part. This if part on 101 line. Okay, at 101 line, you are telling that this 100th line is outside of that for loop. This if condition, this whole if condition. Go up 97, go to the 97, yeah, this 95 line is out of the
give me a minute, 1 minute.
So in the Python, actually, you have this else you can give with for loop as well, actually. So what happens once the for loop is completed, else block will be executed.
Yes, that.
Yeah.
So this is what is done. So basically, with for also you can use else. It is not so intuitive, but what will happen? Your for loop will run, and after once it is finishes, else will go into the else.
Okay.
So this is that kind of else.
Then what is the meaning of continue in that scenario? What is the purpose of continue in this scenario? We are not trying to avoid anything, right?
So sorry to interrupt. So here what he is doing, so suppose that we will check all the things are correct. So for first record, suppose that one order ID is there. If everything is correct, it will continue for the next order. But suppose that particular order is having the issue. There is like we had to create two files, failure files, right? So one failure file was entire failure. Like suppose that order one is having some issue, any of the issue. So what we have to do, we have to send the complete file to that failure folder. Second thing, where exactly which order is having the issue, that also we should have stored it in a error underscore that order one file. So that part he is doing that. If I should know, right, my third order ID is having this particular issue. So that is what he is doing now in that else part. Or else suppose that if it is successful, it will go for the next order and it will check. That's what he is doing.
But the code is not written in that way. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll cover that. That's fine. So you can just come to the end, Vaibhav.
Okay.
Just where you are sending email. I'll just cover that. Okay.
Okay, so the other code will also do the same stuff, I guess. I mean, it will capture your success count and all. If there are no errors in it, it will basically capture your success file count. Okay. Now this is where everything ends, and we are creating the body out of it. I mean, the email body. So the total count is the number of files which were present in the incoming files directory. Okay. Successful count will be your successful files, and rejected files will be your rejected files. Now, once this is created, I'm just calling this function, which is in a different file, and it's just, this is the copy paste code. You can find it anywhere on Google. Okay. So I've just copied it and modified all the, let's say, credentials and all. Okay. So once the body is stated, it will open, I mean, it will call this function. Okay. And it will send the email. Similar way, if there are no files, which is basically checking, I mean, this is the else part of the if condition, okay, where total count is greater than 0. So if there are no files in the source folder, it will again send an email that there are no source files. And this is your main try except block. You can also send an email here also, but I've just put it like this. Okay. And this whole thing is part of this main function. I'm just calling the main function here. Okay.
Yeah. Great, Vaibhav.
And
you can show the email as well. Yeah.
Yeah, this is your sample email that I got. Okay. Basically, you can do some formatting here also, like HTML and all, but due to time sake, I just did it like this. Okay. So I just put it like 4 files in incoming files, out of which only 1 was valid, and I had like 3 cases that I needed to check. So 3 were rejected. So yeah, this is what it is. 9 June. Yeah, correct.
We are seeing your PyCharm screen only.
Oh, sorry.
Vaibhav.
Sorry. I didn't share the entire stuff, I guess. 1 minute. Now, can you see?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, this is the email.
Can you show the error file as well? Okay, what you created?
I have to run the code 1 minute. Let me again. Okay. Now let me. You can see PyCharm, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me try to open. Is it to... This email part will fail, so I'll just do something for.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, if you see, I only have the incoming file directory, which has basically 4 files. Okay. Now, if I open this, this is your one file which only has headers inside it. Okay. This is your file where your this validation will fail, your sales validation. Okay, because this
Mhm.
ideally should be 9,000.
Correct.
Order 3 is something which is purely empty, which doesn't even have headers. Okay, basically these first 3 are test cases kind of thing, where we test everything. And this is your correct file. Basically, this should be success. Okay.
Can you make in one file, okay, one row more than one error?
Yeah, it will be there, I guess, somewhere. Mm. I'll put this thing. This is what product idea is. This I'll put 100 kind of thing. Let's see. I'll try to run it. Let me see if it runs. Okay, it ran. Same thing. Total files 4, successful files 1, and you have these 2 folders which got created. Okay. One is orders 4. Okay, this is your correct file. Okay. Now if I go to rejected files, it will have 6 files, I guess. Yeah. So these are your error orders. This is empty file. Yeah.
Both of them are captured.
Oh, I think this was this quantity which I
Yeah, this is the one you change the ID, right? For that.
Yeah. No, I
Okay.
mistakenly changed the quantity. I had to change the product
Okay.
ID. Yeah.
Okay,
is
so it is
1,
coming
2.
correct. Invalid sales calculation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, order 3 was also empty file. So same thing will come here. And these are your individual files, the actual source files.
Right.
And I've just commented the mail part, so I've just printed it, so it's printing on the console. Yes.
Great. I'll upload this code. Okay. I just want to highlight few things. I'll take the screen grab. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
sure. Thank you.
Okay. So you guys are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, Ankit.
Okay. So
Yes,
two things
Ankit.
I want to highlight. One is so many people have sent me, right? I've checked at least 10, 15 solutions, but there was not even a solution where people have modularized it properly. For example, in this solution, we have validations file separately, mail separately, and main file separately. In most of the cases, everything was one file. It was difficult to read the code, what is happening. There were so many if, else, for loops. And when I was reading it, I got lost almost, right? What is happening? So it is important to modularize your code like the way Vaibhav has done, right? He has defined all the functions, validation functions separately in a separate file. So you can just go and read, okay, what are the validation function, what are the logic, right? It becomes easy for the person who is reading the code and for you also. Second thing is, like Vaibhav has written this code around 20 days back and he's not able to recall things. So this is the main learning that we have to put comments everywhere, right? So when we are writing this code, we should write the comments. Why I'm declaring this variable, what is the purpose of this, right? Some things are obvious, so we don't have to put comments, but somewhere these flags are created. So ideally we should put a comment why I'm creating this flag so that next time when I see this code, it is easy to understand, right? So documentation and put a proper comments will go a long way. Okay, that is the second thing. Third thing is, so many of the people have hard coded the paths, right? Now, if you hard code your path like C and your username, and if I'm running, I have to change all of those, right? But in this, what he has done is he has used relative path. So everything is in this. So this is the package, right? Web of Desai. And if you go here, there are different folders: incoming files, master data, rejected files, success files, right? So this code is running from the main file. This is the file, right? Sorry, run main, this one. So what he is doing dot means it will take to the previous directory. It will come to this directory code, basically namaste cart web above, and then go inside incoming files, master data, wherever he has to go. So I just took this folder and I ran it. It ran for me. I don't have to do any code changes at all. Okay. So instead of hard coding the path, you can use the relative path so that and in any other system also it will work. Right. So that is one good thing I liked about it. Okay. Another thing is he has done the exception handling also. For most of you, you did not do any exception handling. It was plain code, right? So it is important to do exception handling also, because in case something fails, your program will break. Instead of that, if you have the exception, you can catch the exception, print it, or send email or whatever, right? Because you never know what problem can occur in the future. Okay, so these three things are very important for me. From logic point of view, I will share the code. You can go through it again. We can discuss again, but I think it is very straightforward. I'll just give an overview what is happening. So you have multiple files, right? These are multiple files. So what you have to do, you have to iterate over each of the files. So you have to take first file, right? Then second file, then third file, then fourth file. Now, when you end the first file, there are multiple records, right? So you have to reach each record one by one. So there are two level of loops, right? So if you look at here, this is all the files, right? Incoming files. In incoming files, you will have these four files, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for each file, you have to read. So you are reading order1.csv in the first loop here, right? And then within that file, you are reading each line for order in orders, right? Again, I will explain. In the file, in the first loop, in the file variable, you will have orders1.csv. Now with that file you are reading here on the line 28, right? Now in that file, you can have 10 lines or 20 lines. So you have to read each line one by one, right? Later, if you would have done this using pandas, you don't have to run all these loops. You can do at once in the panda, right? I hope some of you would have tried it, but things will become simple if we do it using pandas, because you can directly read the .csv file and do your validations directly on all the rows together, right? You don't have to run loop, right? But this project was mainly to practice all those things what we learned before pandas, dictionaries, loops, lists. So that's why we did like that, right? But it's a good exercise. So what you are doing here, you are reading the file orders1.csv, and then within that file, you are reading all the lines one by one, right? So you will read first line. So whatever is there in the, so nothing is there. If let's say you are reading this file, you will read first line, this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, right? One by one, you will read all the lines. And for each line, you will do validations, right? So for each line, all of these validations will run. We will check if city is valid, if there is any empty file, or if there is a order date in the future, or if the product ID is validate, if the sales is proper, because we were considering quantity into price. So all those validations will happen for each of the line in this file. Okay. If something is not proper, then we are creating some variable and appending all the rejection reason. And in the end, we are sending an email, and also we are creating the file, right? This error file. So this is high level what is happening. I will upload the code. You can just go through it. If you think it is challenging to understand, we can discuss again in the Friday session. Okay, does this make sense? Overall, high level, how this is working? Anyone?
No, Ankit, you guys good. Okay, we are good.
Good, right?
So yeah, again, like one thing, this run_main.py is the primary file, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we are calling that mail service and validation.py by using that import mail service as ms and validation as v, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we
Okay,
can
one
access.
question in this, okay, only that do we have any main function like C in Python also? We have to write all the things in the main. Is that kind of obligation in here also?
No, it is not an obligation, but it is just a general practice. You define a main function and call it in the end, but you can directly, run all this code, keep this all the code just and run it. That is also works fine.
Yeah, that works fine. But what is
There is
the
no
standard practice?
obligation. Yeah.
What is the standard practice?
Practice is you create a main function and then call it.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Ankit, any optimization in this code from your side? Can you provide that also?
I think, see, what optimization, obviously we can use pandas and all, but whatever we discuss based on that, I think this is good.
Okay. So
And
the
please,
same
all
thing
of
we
you have
can.
to do this using pandas. Okay, whenever you get time next week or whenever, just try to do this project. All the validations you can do using pandas instead of writing functions. Okay. So you will get a good flavor of pandas as well. So you will have to join with the master table. You will have to check if something is null or all those. You will have to play with order date, the date parameter, date field, right? So if you do using pandas, then you will get a good hands-on of pandas as well. Okay.
Yeah, Ankit, regarding documentation, so what is the best practice to follow? Like, where should we keep all the comments and how we need to categorize them?
So what we can do is one thing is you have to put comments, as I said, right? Wherever you have some good logic or you think in future it will be difficult to understand, you put the comments, right? We can put comments in Python using hash. Other than that, what you can do, you can create a readme file kind of thing, .txt file readme, and you can just put the flow that what there. So you have three files, right? So you can create a text file, right? You can say I have three files. So we have main.py, we have validations.py, and then we have main file, sorry, mail.
Mail service.
Right? And then you can put there what you have. I have this function for this function for this. In send email, I have this function to doing this. In the main file, you can highlight that I'm reading all the files from here and then doing. So some high level documentation you can do. So that later anyone can come and read, okay, in your full package, these are the files and what these files are doing at high level you can write. Otherwise, someone else is reading, they will not know what exactly is happening in each of the files. So if they start with the readme file, they will get a good head start. Okay. But comments are very important. Adding comments to your code is very, very important. Okay. Great. I will upload this folder, this package. Okay. And you all can go through it. Okay. Great. So now anyone able to do this CD type 2? Anyone? Did anyone try? No? You guys did not get time or you were not able to do it?
Not
did
getting time.
responses.
Ankit. Yeah, for me, it's not getting time.
Okay. Others, anyone else who tried at least? No one tried. Do you want to try? You want some more time? I want all of you to try. I can tell you, but if you don't try, then it will not solve the purpose, right?
You're
Yes,
correct, Ankit.
Ankit, we need some time actually.
Okay. I will need some more time then. Okay. So what we will do today is I want to show you some API calls, right? So we have this another project, Spotify project, right? I'll give you some overview of it as well today. And then what you can do SCD type 2 and other things. And then this project, I am just explaining it, but you can do over the weekend. Okay. This project you don't have to do now. So today and tomorrow you should get some time and try SCD type 2. And then Thursday we will discuss it. And I will give some time for this project, the Spotify I'm talking about. And maybe next week we will have one class just to discuss that if required. Okay. So what we are going to do now, we are going to read the Spotify data. So Spotify is a website where you can stream songs, right? So Spotify. Okay. So you have different playlists, all kinds of things, right? Now what we want to check every week, right? What are the top 100 songs from Spotify? Okay. So we want to see what are the top 100 songs every week or every day, whatever. And I want to create a report of it so that I can see which artists are trending in last 1 year, which kinds of songs are trending, right? All those kinds of analysis I want to do on the top songs, right? So what we have to do then, we have to have some API to get this data from Spotify, right? So for that, we have to create a developer account. So Spotify developer. So if you just go to this developer.spotify.com, you can go here and you might not have your account. So you can sign up with the Spotify credentials, right? And if you go to dashboard, okay, so you just have to go to developer.spotify.com. And then what you have to do, you have to create your account, right? Whatever your Spotify account is there, if it is there, you can just log in from that. Otherwise, you can sign up. Okay. And then you come to dashboard, right? I came to dashboard and here you can create an app. Okay. So I have created one app already. You can just click create app. You give your app name. Let me do it. Namaste Spotify. And app description, I will give something. Website, you can give anything, doesn't matter. Let me give this is fine. Okay, so our app is created. Okay. So if you go here, settings. Okay. So if you go to settings of your app, right? I'm creating Namaste Spotify app. We have some client ID and secret client ID. This we need for the for the authentication. Okay. So let me explain you quickly what we are doing. This is fine. So we are going to read Spotify playlist, right? Top 100 from whatever playlist, right? So we will link it to the API, right? In Python, right? We will do some transformation and data cleaning. Okay. In Python again, right? And then we will load it into, we will create a data frame out of it. So we will use pandas. Okay.
Ankit, your voice is breaking.
Is it? Okay, I will be 1 second. Okay, so we will load into pandas, then we will load into SQL Server, right? And then if you're comfortable with any reporting tool, you can use it, Tableau, Power BI, or you can create charts using pandas itself, right? So this is the overall flow we are going to do. We will use Spotify API to read the playlist data, that what are the top 100 songs, right? And then we will just convert it into table form using Python, right? Because that data will not be in a data frame structure. We will see in what structure we are getting. We will load it in SQL Server and then we can create a Tableau. Okay. So let's see how we can read the data from Spotify. Okay. So for that, as I said, we created this app in the developer Spotify, and it is giving me the client ID and secret client ID as well. Okay, so this client ID is very confidential. You should not share with anyone, right? I'll just rotate it later after this class, but you should not give it to anyone, okay? Because they can access your account using this, and they can do anything. Okay? So you should not share it. I will just rotate it later. Now, what I have to do is, so there's this documentation. I will share the link. So if you go here, yeah, this is the one. So here they have given how to call the Spotify API. So there are two libraries. You see Spotify, and from Spotify they are importing the authentication module, Spotify client credentials, right? So you can just copy paste as it is. You don't have to think much, right? So let's start. So this will be our.
Yeah, Ankit, what is API and why we need this one?
API is okay. So you have this Spotify, right? Let me add top 100 Spotify songs. So top 100 tracks currently on Spotify. Okay. So you have this playlist, right? Which tells you the what are the top 100 songs, right? On the Spotify server, it will be, right? Now API is like if in a simple terms I tell you, let's say you ordered something on Zomato, right? You just ordered it and the order will come to you, right? So the person who is getting the order is like a API for you. You give some instruction, it will go and get you something, whatever you need. Okay. So in a similar way, API is a application code, right? So you don't have to care about what is happening, right? So Zomato guy is going, collecting, someone is making food, all of this is happening in the back end. What you care about is food, right? So you ordered on Zomato and you get the food, right? And whatever is happening in back end, let's say that is an API doing something and get you what you need. Similarly, you create an API. So here, where is that? Yeah. So there is this API, different APIs, which you can directly call, right? So you will say, give me all the details of this playlist. So you will call that Spotify API, it will get you. That's it, right? This is in simple terms. This is what the API is, right? All the complexity will be hidden from you. You will just call it and get the data. Okay, we will see this in action and then it will be more easy to understand. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so what we are doing, I will just copy this code as it is. Okay, let me keep it separate. Fine. Okay.
Ankit, please change that file to Spotify file for easier understanding.
The name?
Yes, Spotify.
Name of the file you are saying?
Yes, Ankit.
Okay, I'll rename it later. That's fine. I have already a file, so I'll just rename it with some other name later. Okay. So this is my package. Package name is Spotify. Okay, and this is for the authentication. We will see how we will use it. So you can just again pip install it. Before using it, I have already done it. Okay. So this is running fine in my system. Okay. Now the second part is we have to do some authentication, right? So in authentication, what you have to do is Spotify is a method, and in that we have to pass the credentials. So I will pass the credentials here. My app, not this one, Namaste Python. Yeah. So I will just copy this, and this will be my first parameter. And then this is my secret. Okay. And let me run it. It is all fine. Okay. Now if I go back to the documentation. Okay. Now what it is doing, it is calling a method artist albums, right? This is calling artist albums, right? So now what is happening is we don't have to get artist albums. What we need? So for example, we need for this playlist, what are the tracks, right? So for that, if you go here, if you see Spotify.artist album is a method, but there is another method to get the playlist tracks. So let's search this playlist tracks. Album tracks. There will be playlist tracks, I think. Yeah, this is the one, playlist tracks. So what we have to do is, if you see here, okay, so it is expecting a playlist ID, right? So playlist tracks is expecting a playlist ID. So what I will do, I'll just copy this and I will say Spotify dot playlist tracks, and in that I have to pass the playlist ID. What is my playlist ID? So if I go here, this is my playlist ID on the URL. Okay, I'll just copy this full and keep it here. Okay, and just copy this part. Okay, this is what is required. So if you see playlist track, playlist ID, and that's it. Okay, this is all optional. We don't have to pass it. I'll just pass playlist ID and you can get it from any playlist. So this is your playlist. So for top 100 tracks currently on Spotify, this playlist ID is not going to change. So this will be the ID and the songs may change, right? So I'll just call this.
This playlist ID is for related to a user or it is related to a session?
It is a playlist on Spotify.
Okay.
So playlist can have 100 songs.
Without any user. Okay, it is a general playlist. Okay, got it.
Yeah, general playlist.
Okay.
It is a general playlist. Okay. So this is your playlist, and then you will say tracks. Okay, and let's run this. Okay, so it has done. There is no error. Okay, let's see what we have in the tracks. Okay, in tracks we are getting some data, right? Some JSON kind of thing. You can see some dictionary, right? We will see, but we got some data, right? Now, when you get this kind of data, right, what would be the first thing? You will want to know what is the kind of data type created in Python, right? So if you know what kind of data type it is, you can do operations, right? So I will say type. So it is a dictionary, right? So if it is a dictionary, we can see what are the keys, right? So I will say tracks dot items, I think items or keys. No.
Keys. Yeah. Keys.
Okay. So there are this many keys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Now, when you get a data, right, from this Spotify library, you are using this library. Sorry, we are not using API here. API is a different thing. I'll talk about it later. But here we are using directly the Spotify libraries, right? And using Spotify libraries, we are able to, there are different methods and we can call them. So we are calling this method Spotify.playlist tracks, and in that we are passing the playlist ID, right? And it is giving me some data, which is a dictionary. In that dictionary, we have these many keys. Okay. Now, when you get this kind of data, it is difficult to understand what data it is, what are the different fields, right? So it is always good to get the type what is the type of my track, and within that I can see all this. Now one by one I will see what is there in this. So let's do it. So I see tracks. So I have href. Let's see what is there in href. So you have some the URL of the playlist. Okay, so which is fine. Now let's see other things. So total. So there are total 100 songs. It is just telling. And then we have previous. So it is not that important. Nothing is there. This is empty. Offset also, I think it is 0. Right? Limit is something 100 because there are 100 songs. Right? Now, the main thing is item items. Right? So if you see, this item is a big data, something. Right? So again, you have to check what is the data type. It looks like a list, but let's see. So we'll see type. So this is how you have to deal with the complex data, semi-structured data or unstructured data in Python. You have to one by one check what is the data type and go inside, right? So it is a list, right? Let's see what is the length of the list. Length of the list is 100. It means for each of the track in that, right? For each of the track, in the playlist, we have one item, right? So in the list, there are 100 items. So each item will represent one track, right? So let's see one by one. So what we will do now, we will check first element, 0, right? Because every other element will be just repeating with the different song. So I will just say 0, right? So I will get the first element of the list. Okay, you guys able to follow so far?
Yes, Ankit.
Yes.
Yes,
Right. Okay, so I'm just taking the first element, which will represent my first song most probably. Okay, so let's see. So this is item 0. Again, when I take item 0, you see this is again a dictionary, right? This is again a dictionary. So if I say type, so there are structures within structures, right? And this is how you have to deal with them. Again, a dictionary. So let's see what is there in this dictionary. So dot keys. Okay, so these are the keys. So added by is local, primary, track, video, thumbnail, right? So let's see one by one. So my first one is added at, or let me do one thing. So this is my tracks, right? I'll do one thing. I will just put it in a track variable so that I don't have to do that. Okay, so let me. I will put it here. Okay, so this is one track, right? So I'm just putting in a variable so that it is easy to iterate through it. Okay, so this is done. Okay, so now track, add it at, right? Let's see. Okay, so it was added in 17.5. This track was added in basically a playlist have multiple tracks, and this track was added in Spotify back in 2017, but it is part of the playlist still, the top 100 songs, right? And then we have added by, right? So it shows the user who edited it. So Spotify only edited it. There are other also who can edit it, but it is not of much use for us. Okay. Now we have primary color. Again, this is of not much use. Again, is local. I don't know what is that. Okay. That is fine. The main thing is track in this, the track key. So let's see what is there in the track. Okay. If we look at the track, again, we have different things here, right? It is again a dictionary, right? So if I check dot keys, right, it is again a dictionary, and this we have lot of other things now, right? We have album, artist, available markets, the track ID, name. Okay, let's quickly look at few of the things. Track, and then let's look at the name. Okay, so this says Despacito remix. Okay, let's go to the website and see if it is coming correct or not. See, the first one is this one only, Despacito remix, right? If I look at the first item, let me make it 1. Okay, and run this. Second one is I am the one. Second one is I am the one. So it is fine, right? We are all reading it correct. So if we look at the last item, the 100th one, whipping. Okay, so let's put it 99 because 99 will be the 100th one, right? Right. So we are getting the right data, right? All of you able to follow?
Yes, Ankit, yes.
Great. Okay, so which means we are able to read the data, which is fine. But the structure of data is not so fine, right? I want to, create a table kind of thing where we have all these 100 songs, right? And all the attributes like who is the singer, right? Who is the artist, when it was added, right? From which album it is, all those kind of information I want to store, right? So it is not a straightforward thing now. We have to iterate through it, create some kind of structure that we can read in data frame. That's what we have to do. Okay. So let's see
One
what we can.
question
Yeah.
only I have. Okay, when we are establishing the connection to the Spotify server, do we have to when this is for the Spotify? If we want to get data from any of the other server, okay, do we have to always create a developer account and get that, or is there any other way to get the connection?
No, you have to create a developer account because otherwise, how you will authenticate yourself?
Okay, in the real world scenario, how we will get the data?
Yeah, in real world scenario, either you are working for Spotify, then you will have all the accesses, right? But if you are a third party, then you have to create a developer account and do it.
Okay. Okay. For any of the means like there is a third party vendor and they exposed some API to us. Okay. To our, and we want to utilize those APIs for our to get the data from their server and utilize in our purpose. Then how we will get that done? This is not
There
API.
are different ways. See, if you are directly working with third party, right, they can give you some access directly. Now, for example, Spotify doesn't know. Spotify has created a developer account, right? If anyone wants to access their data, they can do using this developer account. But if you are directly working with Spotify, then there may be some other ways to get the authentication, right?
Okay. Means if any of the company will share the API to us, they will share some credential also to us.
They will share some kind of authentication, not credential, but some other kind of different kind of authentications are there. So some kind of authentication they will share. Yeah.
They will share to get connected with their.
Can we use request module for Spotify API calling?
Which module?
A request module for API calling.
So this is not API actually. I said it wrongly. We are just directly using the Spotify method, this library.
Ankit, it is
API is different. We'll see. For API, we can use request method, but this is not an API call. Spotify has created their own Python library and we can use it directly.
Ankit, it is
internally, there might be some API calls. If you go into the Spotify library, there will be some internally, they might be doing some, API calls, but we are not doing directly.
It is similar like web scraping.
This is not web scraping.
Yeah.
This is not web scraping. Web scraping is a different thing, right? You go to a web and you scrap what is there. But this is you are directly getting the data from the this method call, right? You are not scraping it. You are directly getting this data, right? That tracks whatever we created. You call this playlist tracks method and you are getting all the data of that track. Right?
So in web scraping, we will give the website in that.
Yeah, in web scraping, you will use the API to hit the website, and from the website, we will scrap it, all the items or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, but here we directly have a Spotify method or library.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. So ultimately, what we have to do now, we have to iterate through each of the item. Okay, get all the information what we need and create a data frame. That is our first exercise. Okay, so how you will do it? Definitely, you will run a loop on this. So there are 100 items. You can just simply run a loop. Apart from that, you have to decide what all information you need, right? So for example, so we have this, right? Let's write what all we need. So we definitely need track name, right? Do you all agree? Because it is important. If you are going to create some dashboard or anything, we need the track name. Okay. Let's see what all we can take. So we are under track. Okay. Track, and then we have, let's say, ID also is important. Okay. We will keep the ID, and duration is important, right? How long is the song? You might need for some analysis that the longer songs are running more or shorter ones. So this is in millisecond, right? So if I want to convert it into second, I will have to divide it by 1000. So this is giving me around 160 seconds, around 3 minutes, right? So if I do into 60, not this one. So this is around 2.67 minutes song. Okay, so this is my duration in minutes now. Okay, maybe we will keep it in seconds better. So that, okay. And what else? What else you think is important?
Artist.
Artist and album.
Yeah. So where is the artist? This is the artist. Okay. We'll come to the artist. Let's see what is there in the album, right? So album. Okay. So album is really another dictionary, you see, right? So in album, we have album type, name, type, and then it is available in which all markets, right? So you can extract some more information from here, whatever you want to store. Okay. So this is one thing. Another thing is artist, right? So artist, again, you can have multiple artists in a track. So if I go to artist, so you see there are two artists for this, right? So one is Kiara and another one is Felix Show. So there are two. Felix is no. Okay, so there are two artists again. Okay. If you want to know in which all markets it is available, so you have this also, available markets, right? These are all some code, I think. For India, there will be IN, I think. Yeah, these are different markets basically. It can be countries or region, not sure. But these are all the markets where this album is available. Okay. And then what else? What else we need? Mm,
Popularity.
sorry?
Popularity.
Popularity, right? So this popularity. So this is 50. So this will be popularity based on, within that playlist, how many times this song is getting played. So out of 100, its rank is 50. I think that must be the popularity. I'm not very sure. Okay, so this is also fine. Available markets, again, if you want to keep it in your database, you can keep it. But I don't think it is of much use here. Okay, apart from popularity, we have another track. Let's see. In the track, we have track again. Oh, if it is a track or not, it is returning true or false. Okay, that's fine. Not required as such. Track number 1. So are we reading the 0 1? Yeah. Because we are reading the 0 1. No, it is 99, right? Not 0. Okay. I'm not sure why it is giving 1. Whatever. Okay, and then type, it is a track, it's fine. And then episode calls. Not sure what is the meaning of this episode. Okay. So basically, these are the things, right? So again, once you are into artist, you have to figure out a way, right, to store this information because there are multiple records. For artists, if you see, there are two artists. So how you will store it in a data frame, that you have to decide, right? But let me create a simple program how you will create a data frame out of it. Okay. So what I will do, I'll just pick this up. Where is this one. Okay. For track in. Okay. So in items, you remember we had 100 items, right? So I'm just looping it over. So track in tracks. Okay. If I just do print track, right? So what it will do, it will first print the first one, the 0 that we are talking about. This 0, right? And then 1 and 2 and 3. So all this we were seeing this, it is only for the 0 1, right? Or the 99 one. We are doing 99 here, right? So I'm just iterating through it. Okay. So what I will do now, if you remember, how did we create the from the data structures? How did we create the pandas? If you remember, this is how it was, something like this. So we have, let's say, df. So we will create a dictionary, right? And it is like this, right? So you have a column name. So if you remember, we created this name, right? And then we pass the list of all the employees. Okay. And then Rahul, right? Let's say there are 2 records only. This is my first element. Let's say then email ID, right? And then both the email IDs, Ankit's email ID and the Rahul's email ID in the list, right? And third element, let's say city. Then you will pass, sorry, in single quotes, you have to pass city. Okay. So when I create this in the data frame, it will create 3 columns, right? Name, email ID, city, and we will have 2 rows. One for Ankit. The first element of each list will be for Ankit. The second element of each list will be for Rahul. And when we create this data frame, that data frame will be created. All you remember this?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Is it clear how what this structure is? So we have a dictionary. Within dictionary, we have each of the key represents one column of the data frame, and each of the elements represent the first element. So this is for Ankit. The first element is first row for each list. Okay. So this is kind of a structure we are going to create from this Spotify. Okay. So for now, I will just keep 2-3 things. So I will keep, let's say, track name, ID, and duration, right? So what I have to create 3 columns, right? So I will initialize the dictionaries for all of these 3. So I will say names equal to empty dictionary, right? And then IDs, again, empty dictionary, and let's say duration.
These are the empty list.
Empty list, right? So I have to keep appending for all the tracks, right? So for all the tracks, I have to keep appending the names, the email IDs, the cities. So I'm creating the empty list. Okay. And then what I will do, okay. So in track, if you look at it here, this is how I have to get the name, right? Within track name. I will say names dot append, right? Okay. Similarly, for duration and IDs. For ID, I need to get, this is how I need to get the ID, right? I'll just put it here. This is ID basically. Okay. And then for duration, I need to get the duration. And no. and I will to divide by 1000. Okay, so this will be my duration in minutes. Okay, let's run this and see what happens. Okay.
Like ID duration names are different.
Sorry,
You need
my
to
bad.
change the
So
name.
this will be IDs duration. Okay, and run this. It has run. Let's look at one of our list. So we have all the names, right? So we created a list of all 100 songs. Similarly, for each of the song, what are the duration? We can check in this. Right? These are the different durations. Right now, if I have to create a data frame, what I have to do? I have to first import pandas as PD, right? And then I will say df equal to pd dot data frame, and I will pass what? So I have to pass a dictionary, right? In dictionary, what will be the first thing? Name of the track, colon, and I can pass
Names.
this dictionary directly, names. That's it, right? And then second one is ID, right? Let's keep ID first, or it's fine. You can change it later. And then we have IDs, right? And the third one is duration. And it will be duration. Okay, so this should create a data frame for me. This is running. There is some error.
Didn't run the file.
Data frame. Okay, app should be capital. Okay, this is fine. Okay, let's look at the DF, and you see we created a proper data, right? Out of that all data which we were not able to understand, right? We created a proper table where we have name, ID, and duration. Now, once we have this, you all know you can put it into a database and create a report on top of it, right? So what we can do ideally is we can create a new column called, let's say, snapshot date or create date. And if I'm going to run this every day, so I can just keep appending my data into my table, and the snapshot day will be the day of when you load this data every day, right? So for 27th, you will have set of 100 songs. For 28th, you have set of 100 songs. For 29, you have set of 100 songs, and you can keep a track in your dashboard, right? Which songs are trending, which artists are doing it, right? So this is how you have to deal with the data in Python, right? So this exercise will help you to iterate through different data structures, how to create a data frame out of it, right? Because ultimately, once the data frame is created, it becomes easy to work with data, right? Otherwise, it is very difficult to work with dictionary and list, right? So yeah, this is how you have to do it. I have just created 3 columns, right? But what you have to do over the weekend is you have to work on this. You have to see what all information you can store. Also, you have to figure out a way how do you store multiple artists, because artists will be important because you want to see in your dashboard which artists are more trending. So you have to figure out a way to store artists, how you will store artists, because there can be 2, 3, 4 artists for the single track. Okay. So you have to just work on it. How do you store that data and represent in your dashboard? Okay.
Ankit, can I show it for album column because that has multiple values underneath, right?
Which one?
The album column.
In album column also we have multiple things, right? So if I go to album, so here what we have album type, we have name. Okay, so again it has artist again in the album type, and there will be multiple elements. So it is just repeating the data basically. If you see, available markets are already there, but again it is repeating in the album. But you can directly get artists from here and available markets if you want from here.
Okay,
so
so if you want to
data,
have the
artist
album,
data
then how
is
do we?
there. Artist data is there here as well, and within the album also we have. So it depends on you. You can directly take from here as well. Not an issue.
Okay, let's say for example, if I want to keep it the another column called album type. So then how do I get it then? Then I should pass the album and then where key as the type.
Album, and then within album you have to get, so okay, you have album and this is a dictionary, right? So
Then
let's say
pass
album
key
type.
as the
So again you will pass album type. Okay, so you got single. Okay.
Okay, so can we then again, so that last line should be passed it as another column, right?
Right. So you this is a dictionary, and you, if you want the value of this key, you just pass this as well. So let's say in our example, if I want this also, if I want to store this as well, so I will just say album type equal to list, and then type dot append, and within the album we have album type, right? Where is it? Okay. So album type, right? Okay. And then in the data frame I have to pass album type as well. Okay, that is it, I think. Let's see if we have made any mistake. All good. We have the album type as well now.
Okay, thank you.
Single, album, or whatever. Okay. So now it is up to all your, imagination, what all information you want to keep, what information you don't want to keep, you can skip it. But you have to explore this data, right? Create some good, analysis out of it. So you have to read in Python. This data every day, it should be loaded into SQL Server, and from SQL Server then you can connect it to Tableau or Power BI or whatever you are comfortable with. Okay. I will upload this code and the project code as well. So you have a lot of things to do this week. Okay. Thursday, we will implement the SCD type 2. So please, before Thursday, you give it a try. And then we will discuss the SCD type 2, and few other small things are there which I will cover. Like we discussed about parameterization, configuration and all. So I will cover those things along with SCD type 2 on Thursday. Okay. So we have done a lot of things. Now it is, you have to practice, right? So the more you practice, more comfortable you are. And if you do all these 3-4 projects, so we have almost 4 projects now. The first one is what we discussed today. Then we have one data analysis project that I gave you based on pandas. Then we have SCD type 2. Then we have this Spotify. So there are 4 projects total if you see. And if you attempt all of those, and in fact 5, the first project you have to do using pandas as well. So there are total 5 things you have to do. So if you complete this course, do this all 5 projects, then you are good to, go into the world of Python. Okay. Great.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, good. So I'll share this code. Create your developer Spotify account, get your credential. Don't share with anyone. I will just remove this. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Hi, Ankit. Hello.
Yeah.
Actually, this is regarding the like task you gave to us over the weekend, like to try for the SCD2 type 2.
Right. Right.
So like I was trying, but wasn't able to run the code. Actually, I need your help.
Okay. SCD type 1 is running for you?
No. Actually, while making the connection from pandas to SQL data frame, I mean the SQL server, it's giving problem. Actually, it's not connecting. I guess that's why I wasn't able to simple run
We will
ETL
see if
commands.
we can figure out something quickly. You are Vishwanath, right? No.
Yeah.
Vishwanath, okay. I'll
Actually,
make you co-host. You can share your screen. We will see if we can figure out quickly something. We
Yeah,
are done
sure.
for today. Others can drop off if you want. Yeah. Yeah, Bishnath, you were telling something.
Oh, okay. So I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
So I guess you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, okay. So the problem like this is the code, like the simple extract ETL code, this one that
Mm-hmm.
you were saying. So I was just creating a DFO DFR and then just passing them
Okay.
as here.
Okay, fine. You can just show what is the error.
So the error is calling on this one.
Got multiple values for the argument schema. Where
Yes.
are you passing a schema? Can you show?
No, I'm not passing a schema, but I think in the while calling the load, it's giving error.
1 second. So where is
And
the load?
as
Okay, this is the load. Okay.
yeah,
You
and
okay.
as well, like this was the like I figure out this schema we need to pass. So I was trying to pass it, but if you don't pass, then
Can you
same
remove
error.
this schema?
Yeah, sure,
Mm-hmm.
same error.
So go down. Okay, can you go up little bit again? So this is your return orders. DF order. Okay. The connection is successful, right? There is no issue with that. Only the
I think
load part is the
connect.
issue.
Yeah. This was successful. This was successful. Yeah, but
In
the
the
load
sense
part
you are doing,
having
you are able to do extracts and all, right? There is no issue with that. Okay.
yeah. Extract and transformation is giving a result. Like if we print the DF, then we will get. Yeah, you can see
Okay.
here.
Okay. And is this table already there in your database? Can you show me return orders?
No.
Okay.
See, return.
It is not there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also
Just
like
a
here
second.
we are converting DF to SQL database. While
Mhm.
while reading the SQL data frame, also like it's giving error. Like while that time as well.
Select star when you are doing normally.
Yeah, exactly. From the database, I mean from the SQL server.
Okay, so you are not able to do anything with the SQL server, it means, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and this
So I
is the
think
correct.
that
I've given the correctly only like by checking.
can you print con? Just print con. No, here down only. Just there only you comment the load one and just
Oh, you mean here?
just comment this part and then print con. That's it. Just comment load df this part here. Yeah, and print your connection. Run this. Yeah, you can run it. Connection object is fine, I think. Orders.
Ankit, is this the same case for him as well? I commented con commit and it worked for me. So
can you try this? Just
This one.
comment con and yeah. And then run load df now. Now uncomment that load df. No, there you can uncomment just. Okay, this is also fine.
Yeah.
clear the kernel as well once.
Multiple values for argument schema. You are not passing anything, right?
No. So just index and if exist.
Did you run the code after commenting the commit con?
Yeah. I just ran.
But without Ankit, without commit, it will be not possible, right?
It will not. It will be keep running and all. If you run the SQL server, run the query on SQL server.
Yeah,
Can
so
you
for earlier versions, it was auto commit. That's what I understand. Some of the people were getting that error, right?
Can you restart the kernel and run once again?
Can you just someone has raised this issue? I think can you upgrade your pandas?
How
Mhm.
upgrade?
Yeah, I'll give you the command. You can just run it here itself.
I think pip command you are saying.
Yeah, I just you can just check the chat.
Okay, okay.
You can run from there. Then you just remove this. Actually, you can run from Jupyter Notebook as well with the exclamatory mark symbol. You can
Oh,
just
okay.
copy, paste it.
Ahead of that, right?
Yeah, just paste it.
Where is that?
No, I just on the meeting chat I have put. Can you take from there?
Okay.
Yeah, just run this. Control enter or whatever. Yeah.
I think it's done.
Okay, now again try.
Remove the exclamatory mark here.
In front of import, you have written the exclamatory marks.
Where?
Earlier you run up 13 cell.
Oh, that is
Yeah,
actually wrong, and not
13 cell.
yeah, this one.
Okay.
Just run this one again. Yeah. You are not able to run that
Yeah,
also.
it's giving some another error.
Did you run the previous cell again? This one?
This one, yeah, I ran.
No, this is something else. It is not to SQL, right? Where is that code? Where you were doing to SQL somewhere, right?
Here, remove exclamatory. Yeah.
Yeah,
And run this
and then
again.
uncomment that also, right? Def load and all.
I have written this code. Just a minute. Okay, this one.
This is the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, run this one. Mm,
No, again same error.
no, before the load. Okay, load is there in that only. Okay. No, before the load, you have to run the previous cell. Did you run the previous cell?
Yeah. I
This.
ran it.
Okay, but it is giving error, right? Okay, no, it's coming to the next. Now you have to put df again. You have not run the load df. Just run again. On the cell,
Your voice is low
go
very.
to cell 21. No, go to cell 21. Yeah, and run this now. It's still, I think, giving error. Yeah.
While calling this problem is there.
Can you go up a little bit? I need to see the master. Yeah, master only same databases you are using, right? Master.
Yeah, master database.
That returns that table is not there, right?
No. That table is not there. You can see in the master database. No return product. I mean order.
Can you just that PyODBC? Why you need it? I was able to do it without PyODBC. Can you remove it from your engine?
This one.
Huh.
I seen in ChatGPT. That's why I put there.
Okay, just
so
try
I
it now.
need to run again.
Yeah. Now run the load df again.
Same.
No, it has not run. The previous cell only run. Yeah, run this. Yeah, it is giving the same error. So in Stack Overflow, it is saying this is some version issue in between Pandas and SQL Alchemy actually. Mhm. You have 1 second. Return orders on index file. Mm. When did you install this SQL Alchemy? Is it long back in your system or recently?
Yeah. On the same day when we were discussing about this one.
And Pandas also recently, right?
Yeah. The last week. I mean.
Hmm.
Might we restart the kernel once? It will solve the problem.
Reconnect, isn't it?
Second one.
Restart second one. Yeah.
Mhm. Same response.
You can just check different versions actually. I'll just ping the SQL this what is
Sure.
it? Stack Overflow link I'm giving you. This guy has faced the same error, exactly the same.
Latest version 1.5.3. So we did this one. Pip install one.
We did this one, it is still not working. And then in the next comment, someone is saying that they downgraded SQL Alchemy to 1.2.46. You can try these combinations. It should work. I don't think there is any code issue. It is just version issue, I think.